Welcome to the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel. My name's Chris Daly, the color commentator for your Fighting Irish. This is the first ever episode of Irish in 120, where we highlight what happened in Notre Dame's most recent game in 120 seconds or less. So cue the clock and begin the countdown. This is Irish in 120.
In this episode of Irish in 120, we're spotlighting Notre Dame's 34-15 victory over the team they fell short to in the Big Ten championship game just a season ago, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Matt Williams broke off of the rolling maul for the first try of the game, and Williams was pumped after the score. The Irish were visibly hungry for revenge. However, the mood was quickly offset. Ohio State put up 10 points in the middle portion of the first half. Then the Irish found their groove once again. Jack Waterhouse, 6'6" in stature, brings down the lineout, gives it to Matt Williams in a scuffle of players. Somehow, some way, Williams gets the job done. Later in the first half, Zach Banton, channeling his inner MC Hammer, says, "Can't touch this," as he dashes by just about the whole Buckeyes team. His play set up a Jack Waterhouse try. Speaking of Waterhouse, he powers through a few Buckeye defenders, knocks them over, gives the ball to Ireland Youth International Jack Dunn, who powers his way into the try zone and scores for Notre Dame. Oh, and if you thought we were done talking about Zach Banton, think again. Banton gets the ball, and he splits the Ohio State defense. There's about 8 defenders left in the dust. An absolute brilliant piece of rugby from Zach Banton, making something out of nothing that's now known as the Banton Special. And we're going to show you 2 extra clips of the Banton Special. These both come from the game against Purdue, in which he started on the bench, comes into the game in the second half, and dominated. This one was awarded a penalty try, and then later in the game to cap things off for the Irish. Here's Zach Banton. You think he has nowheres to go. 2 men on him. Kicks it over them both. It was a foot race. Banton's never been in a foot race that he has lost. He downs the ball. Notre Dame scores. Big win against Purdue. Big win against Ohio State. And the Irish are rolling. That's all for the first edition of Irish in 120. Thanks so much for watching, and we can't wait to bring you more as the season moves along. For now, enjoy Notre Dame versus Marian. From Notre Dame Studios, I'm Chris Daly.
Friday Night Rugby with a little pregame show to boot as we welcome you to the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel for a good matchup tonight. No other way to put it. Number 10 Notre Dame, number 9 Marian, in a top 10 showdown to start your weekend. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Charlie Morris, my partner, who you just heard from, Chris Daly. And Chris, not much more to say. 10 versus 9. How good is it going to be tonight?
Oh, this is great. It's what we live for, Charlie. A top 10 clash here at Stinson Rugby Field. Marian 3-3 on the season. They played some real tough programs. Lots of battles for them in those first 6 games. Meanwhile, Notre Dame 5-1 on the year. However, they are 10th, coming off of a big 34-15 victory over Ohio State. You just saw the highlights. The Irish are rolling. They're happy. They're excited. They finally knocked off the Buckeyes.
Yeah, they did it last year in the regular season before losing in the Big Ten championship and then picking up the win at home last week. Hopefully you joined us for that. Now, Chris, Marian comes in. You just mentioned it, 3-3 on the year, yet they're still ranked number 9. They've played the number 2 team in the country. They've played the number 6 team in the country. They've beaten the number 12 team in the country. That's why they're still at this ranking despite being 500.
Yeah, they're in the Big Rivers Conference, which in my estimation, and I think just objectively speaking, it is the premier college rugby conference. You look at Wheeling, you look at the teams they lost to, Lindenwood, Thomas More. Oh, Iowa Central Community College, everybody's favorite. The Tritons as well are in the Big Rivers Conference. It's just amazing. It's so hard to compete in that conference. Marian doing a good job at it.
We're going to stand here for the national anthem. Be right back with game action. welcome you back. Just about set for kickoff here at Stinson Rugby Field. Thanks again for joining us. Notre Dame, the hosts, playing their second consecutive road game, or home game, I should say, wearing the all-white uniforms tonight. And on the flip side, you got the Marian Knights donning some combination of blue as the primary color, yellow and white stripes throughout. Again, my partner is Chris Daly. And Chris, we alluded to it a bit in the open. Marian, one of the best conferences in college rugby, with losses to St. Bonaventure #2, Thomas More #6, as well as Lindenwood, who's always atop the Big Rivers Conference. What can you expect from the Knights tonight that gives them a chance in this game on the road?
These guys are big, they're fast, they're strong, and they are going to provide a real good test to Notre Dame. I'm really going to look in the middle, though, at number 1 on Marian, their prop, Colby Slicer. Over the offseason, he lost 20 pounds of weight. He put on some real lean muscle, seen as the heart and soul of their team. They did a nice feature on him on the Marian Instagram page. I would highly recommend everybody to go check it out. He is an absolute beast and somebody to look out for today.
Yeah, he's going to lead a attack that has been very prolific so far. The Knights, despite their 3-3 record, come in averaging more than 27 points per game. They've scored 27 in 5 of their 6 contests, with the only exception being to the #2 team in the entire nation, when they lost 57-12 to St. Bonaventure. Other than that, Chris, all their games have been close. They've been high scoring. We can expect a really fun one tonight.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I've said it before, Charlie, but 10 versus 9. I mean, this is college rugby right here. One of the biggest games in the country, in my estimation, the biggest game in the country this week. We saw a phenomenal game of rugby just a week ago with Queens and Wheeling. I expect a real similar game. That one was a tie. It was 36-36. I think we'll actually see an outright winner in this one, however.
Yeah, certainly would expect ties, of course, super rare, but goes to show how close those two teams were matched up. So yeah, this one not the NCR game of the week. That one's between two teams down in Texas. This one, though, is going to get a lot of eyeballs. Thanks for joining us this evening as we bring you Notre Dame and Marian from Stinson Rugby Field. Second of 3 home games in a row for the Irish. We'll play again here next Friday as the regular season really begins to wind down, Chris. Only this game and 2 more for both of these teams before we hit playoffs.
Time really flies. I feel like we were just starting the season talking to Coach Hickey about what he likes with his team, and I remember him talking about this guy named Jack Waterhouse. I heard all of these stories about this figure. He's the 8-man, 6'6", just a menacing player, and we've really seen it. He's been one of the best players in the country. We've had a joy to have a front row seat to his creativity and his power right here at Stinson Rugby Field. So he's a guy to look out for on the other side. He's dressed in that all-white today for Notre Dame.
And how about that move just a couple seconds ago by Reese Reddington, number 15 for the Knights, dropping his man to the turf as Waterhouse gets into it physically with Caden Simiel, number 6 in blue, as Waterhouse known to be very physical. There's a strong counter rock. That's not allowed. So first penalty of the game goes against Marian, and Notre Dame will have it in plus territory. Their first possession of the night, save for that 2-second kick just a couple seconds ago.
And that was Andrew Cansfield who went down for Notre Dame. He's a guy who always gets involved, just a real gritty player, a big man for the Irish. He's going to have a huge day to stop what I had described earlier as a very strong, very physical Marian side.
Yeah, and Marian's strength, Chris, is their offense. Yeah, 27 points in 5 of their 6 games so far. The defense sometimes lets them down, but there's no doubt that they are going to score tonight. They have at least 2 tries in every single game. They have at least 4 in 5 of their 6 games. And here comes the Notre Dame rolling maul, which they have used pretty well earlier in the season. This time, though, the Knights stuff it almost completely. Well, plays the Irish really like to. Ball's free for a moment. Both teams kind of trying to set it up, and it'll be Notre Dame who comes away with it. Almost an early mistake for them. As just leaning forward is Erden, Cully Erden, number 5 for the Irish. Now outside Waterhouse, cuts it back towards the middle, sheds off a hit. He's down near the try line. Doesn't quite get it across. Ball's free. Saved by the Irish. Marian's defense backed up right now. Can't quite see the ball.
Always look out for Matt Williams in these situations.
Certainly do. Referee right on top of the play. Still no signal. Waterhouse is going to go for it. Don't know if he got it down. And he did for the try. And an early score for Notre Dame. And it's Jack Waterhouse again. He scored in every game this year.
Yeah, that's just quintessential Jack Waterhouse. It starts with the nice offload to Waterhouse. Then he muscled through a couple of the Marian defenders before the Irish just so persistent right there within 5 meters. And it's just a great play from Waterhouse. You got to use his size. He's bigger than every guy that he's going to step in front of. 6'6" as well. When he gets down on the ground, stretches out like Superman. No one's stopping those long arms as Waterhouse puts it in.
Yeah, how about that wingspan? Didn't really need the wingspan there as much as he needed the physicality and strength, but of course doesn't hurt. Able to reach it across the try line as Philip Guinan lines up for a left-footed conversion kick, sails it wide left. So 5-0 Notre Dame. And the early score for Jack Waterhouse. And if you are a Marian fan and you haven't done your scouting report, that's what you're going to see a lot of tonight for Notre Dame. Waterhouse is their leading scorer, and it's not even close. And he gets it just about 2.5 minutes into play, maybe 3.5 minutes, and gives Notre Dame the early lead.
Yeah, Waterhouse is certainly Notre Dame's best player, but we saw a lot of Irish attackers on that play. It starts with the offload from Jack Dunn before Waterhouse progressed about 10 meters to give Notre Dame a shot within that 5-meter zone. And then, of course, Notre Dame eventually puts it away, but just maybe 5 to 6 players getting on the ball before Waterhouse scores.
And it started with a penalty against Marian. We got a penalty against Notre Dame here, so we'll see if the Knights can respond in a very similar fashion. The kick into touch gets them inside the 22.
I will say, Charlie, this happened last game. Notre Dame scored early. Matt Williams, 2 tries. We just saw it on Rugby in 120. And then Ohio State dominated the middle part of the first half.
And now the Knights get it down to the 5. It's an in-state matchup, so the crowd is pretty close to 50-50, but Notre Dame forces a stop, a knock-on against Marian. And that's going to put their possession to bed. Again, you got the top 2 teams in the state of Indiana here tonight. Of course, Notre Dame is the home team, does have the home crowd, but boy, it's pretty split. A lot of Marian fans, they travel really well.
They do, and it's not too far of a drive. They're just down the road in Indianapolis, about 2 hours south. I think some of them are waving. I think they might have heard you, Charlie. You're waving at the stream. Not anymore.
So a scrum for the Irish. Of course, we're not out of the woods yet. And Waterhouse will pick it up. He's going to try to run for it. Manages to get it to the ground for a second. It's taken away by the Knights. And bursting ahead and tying the game. Off the turnover, Marian gets on the board just like that.
Try for Marian. 5-5.
I believe that was Casey Graybill, the sophomore, who took it away and did it all himself.
Graybill is somebody I have yet to highlight, but was thinking about talking about soon because he's the captain for the Chicago Hounds U19 side, a sophomore, just a really talented player, has so much rugby experience, very, very smart individual out on the rugby pitch. And you can see right there, a little scoop and score, slices and dices his way through the Notre Dame defense.
And knocks the kick through to give the Knights the 7-5 lead. So we're not even 8 minutes into play, and we already have a try on both sides. Gives you an indication of what kind of offensive prowess both of these teams possess. It's the 3rd time they've played in their brief history. Of course, Marian wasn't founded as a rugby program until 2020. It's the 2nd time here at Stinson Rugby Field. The Knights have scored 41 and 38 points in their 2 games historically against Notre Dame. So you know the offense is going to be there. And Notre Dame was able to receive the kick. Pretty well executed play, and it lands in the arms of Drew Artis.
Listen, it's early, but I do think the second half is what's really going to separate these two sides. Every single Notre Dame game we've watched, Charlie, besides the rout of Purdue, it's been a close game in the first half, and the second half, Notre Dame runs away with it. I do think it's going to be a lot tougher today now that they go up against the 9th-ranked team in the country. But they are a team that tires the opposition out. They're really fast, they got great stamina, and they have a loaded bench. So real curious to see what Marian has to counter that.
Yeah, certainly depth, one of the strengths of the Fighting Irish. See how the Knights, if they can build an early lead perhaps, that's not going to help. Another offensive penalty for Marian's going to set them back inside their own 5-meter line. It's going to be a tap and go, potentially for Luke Engel. He is looking at the sideline here, so he might try to kick it out. And he will do just that. So Notre Dame will get a line out from the 5. You want to place a bet? I think a rolling maul is coming. What do you think?
Oh, I don't think I'm going to take you up on that. I feel like I would lose money if you're saying there's going to be a rolling maul.
Well, we don't have to do straight up odds.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. We're not. Well, you're 21. I'm not 21. I can't bet.
I know the law really stops you.
Maybe on Fliff. Is there college rugby on Fliff? I don't know.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, probably not.
And here comes the maul. Last time Marian stuffed it. This time they're stuffing it again. Maybe now a little progress. Notre Dame has got it to the line. Not able to down it yet. Still manage possession. We're on the far side of the field. Now they'll pass it towards the middle. Very aggressive defense right now, and no choice for Marian. Just to bulldoze forward, and try is scored. And it looked just like the first one of the game for the Irish. They do it again off the line out and the hard work, and they have retaken the lead.
Yeah, it was Michael Miataszewski who scored the try for Notre Dame. Number 3, somebody Coach Hickey highlights as a guy who's going to take a step forward in the big 2025. That's exactly what he's done. He's been having an electric year, Charlie, and punctures in a try. I don't think we've seen him score yet, so finally getting on the board. Nice play there from Miataszewski. Stays with it, and he's able to regain the lead for Notre Dame.
Yeah, we asked Coach Hickey before the season, Chris, and I think this is what you were alluding to. If there was anyone on the team who was on the roster last year. Wow, what a kick! Colin Artis puts the exclamation point on the try with a kick from no angle, plenty of leg. So Notre Dame takes the 5-point lead on an impressive conversion for the senior. Yeah, we asked Coach Hickey, who do you expect to take the biggest step forward? And his answer, Michael Miataszewski, who lost a little weight over the summer, stepping in for Tom Bowman. And he gets his first home try of the season. And he did it in the style exactly as you'd want your number 3 to do it.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. Just physical brand of rugby. That's what we're seeing so far. These tries aren't the flashy line breaks going for 40 meters like we've seen Zach Banton do time and time again. It's just trench warfare within the 22.
Jack Dunn will boot it high. Bobbled. And looked like he was knocked forward by Notre Dame. No knock-on call coming, however. And the Irish will take possession. Guinan is going to kick it low, bouncing towards the touchline, and it will go out of bounds, just out of the reach of Owen Portelli.
Picked out by Notre Dame. That'll be Marian.
So Marian will get the line out on a decent defensive stand. Although if you're Notre Dame, Chris, you got to be pretty satisfied. You were backed up way at your own 22. Pretty much flipped the field.
Oh, you got to be so happy with that defensive stand right there. And there's so many times we've seen these lineouts go in favor of Notre Dame. Once again, they do. They get the ball. A lot of times, though, they'll put up Jack Waterhouse, who's 6'6", and he'll easily snatch the ball.
Notre Dame playing with advantage right now, is even though Waterhouse didn't collect that lineout as you were talking about, the lineout was pretty scuffed, and it's going to be kicked into the hands of a Knight over on the far side. I believe it's Will Toohey who got it. Now Notre Dame will to who he's going to set up. And aim towards the touchline. And execute his kick pretty well. Got a lot of foot on it off the top of the dugout. We're almost 15 minutes into the first half. It's been exciting, Chris. 3 tries. And you mentioned it. A lot of grittiness out here. Not a lot of flashiness so far.
Now, these are just 2 really big, demeaning teams, and we've seen them beat up other squads so far this season. In Marian's 3 wins, they were able to just narrowly beat Kentucky thanks to a physical style of rugby. They also beat Davenport, and they're just a team that really likes to hit, as is Notre Dame, so it creates for a great matchup.
Yeah, just looking at Marian's results this year, and we're very thankful the Knights have a varsity-style team page, which not every program does. So thank you to the Marian Athletic Department. 1-point win against Kentucky, 29-28. 2-point win against Davenport, 27-25. Then they had that big loss to St. Bonaventure. 27-15 win against Indiana, who's now number 12. That's their best on their resume. 7-point loss to Lindenwood, 10-point loss to Thomas More. So whether it's wins or losses, Chris, other than that one game against St. Bonaventure, who is the number 2 team in the country, they are tight with everyone.
Yeah, it's been a fun season to watch as a neutral. If you're a Marian fan, though, tons of games that might just give you a heart attack.
Yeah, they tend to be close, tend to be high scoring. Certainly seeing a lot of that early on. Go ahead.
I will say this. It's really interesting to note that they were crushed by St. Bonaventure. St. Bonaventure tied Walsh, and now Walsh is the team that beat Notre Dame in the second week of play, 38-17. So these 2 teams, Notre Dame and Marian, have had a real similar season so far, even though the records are just a tad bit different.
And that's why they're ranked 9 and 10. If you're a proponent of the RPI system, Notre Dame is favored in this game based on that, but that also has its drawbacks. For example, we saw a couple weeks ago Notre Dame beat Texas A&M in the RPI.
I love Rugby Hawk. I really loved it, but they got to update it this year. I don't know what happened with the system, but just the way these rankings are really, really confuse me right now. Just even looking at, again, Texas A&M is 25. Notre Dame's 29. I just don't understand the computer. I know AI has become a big thing nowadays, but we're going to have a little bit of human import here because I'd be happy to say, yeah, Notre Dame's better than the Aggies.
Yeah, the Aggies ranked number 10 in the single A division, the division below the top division, which is what you're watching tonight. So again, no slouch to them. They put up a good fight against the Irish, but I think certainly no one would argue that they are better than Notre Dame.
Yeah, I would be shocked. And Marian being all the way down in the 60s also just confuses me. But I will say this. What Rugby Hawk has done is fantastic. They give us a comprehensive database of all the games, all the results. This is not a knock on Rugby
Absolutely
Hawk at
not.
all.
We would never.
I wouldn't be here without Rugby Hawk. I love Rugby Hawk. But I do want a bit of an update on these rankings.
Your man, Colby Seiler, looked like he may have gotten hurt a little bit. Trainer came onto the field, but he's going to stay in the game, and that's going to bring an ovation from the whole crowd, but especially from Marian fans as a sigh of relief as their superstar stays in. Junior out of Anderson. Seiler standing at 6'1" and 245 pounds. A force to be reckoned with for this Knights team. Stays in the game. Have to see. I don't know if you saw what happened.
No,
I did not.
wasn't able to get a good look at it.
Wasn't either, but jogged away under his own power, so have to hope for the best that he's going to continue to stay in this game. Keep an eye on him throughout the night. Talked about Marian's results this season. Notre Dame does have a ranked win on their ledger. They defeated Michigan 24-20 in the first game of the season, and at that point, the Irish were like, oh man, we're only beating Michigan by 4. We might be in some trouble here. Lo and behold, the Wolverines are one of the best stories in college rugby this year, kind of coming out of nowhere to be in the top 20. I believe they're number 14.
Yeah, that's awesome. What a story that is.
Pains my heart a little bit to compliment Michigan, I can't lie, but sometimes you got to give credit where credit is due.
I remember Shea Loughnane last year. They had some real good players. Head coach Christian Mentzer has put in a lot of work with the Michigan Wolverines to make them a formidable program. I think that's been something that's just been building each and every year. They get a little bit better, a little bit better, and now it's finally paying off. But overall, the state of Indiana, let's talk about it. It's the best state for college rugby. You got 3 teams in the top 12. I think right now, I mean, in the state of Indiana, with Notre Dame, Marian, and the Hoosiers, have the lead. That'd be really
Over Ohio?
You might be right. Ohio. I know North Carolina's good with, you got Queens as well as, I believe Thomas More might be, North Carolina. I'd have to check on that. Or Belmont Abbey, rather, is North Carolina.
Yeah,
it's up there, though.
Very good
it's up there. It's a top 3. Maybe that's the next top 5 I do. The top 5 college rugby states. Could give it a look.
Well, next, you don't want to spoil halftime already. We haven't gotten to that part.
Yeah, that is right. I just kind of showed my cards.
Make sure you stick around for the halftime show tonight. Hopefully you were here for the intro where Chris talked about Notre Dame rugby in 120 seconds. We're going to spend a bit more time talking about something else at halftime, so stay with us as Marian has tied the game as just refusing to get tackled. I believe it's Graybill again with his second of the game. As the Knights just pick it up, and I think the best way to put it, just didn't go down all the way into the try zone. And a big score has this game knotted at 12, just about halfway through the first half.
Yeah, and I actually believe it was the 8-man Clay Peters with the scorer. It might have been Graybill getting into the mix as well, but it was Peters with the initial run at least, just bulldozing through a few guys. He was a college rugby all-star back in January. Had a hat trick in the All-Star game. As a senior in high school, this guy benched 365. He is an absolute unit, and you can see why right there.
And the conversion is not good.
Kick is no good from Graybill, so it remains 12-12. And this has been a good one. 365 pounds. That's like more than 2 of me.
Yeah, more than 2 of me as well.
And my friends struggle, 6 of my friends struggle to put me up for 21 touchdown push-ups. I'm impressed, safe to say. Look at Jack Waterhouse climb the ladder to receive that kick. But he loses the ball. Marian got it. They take it away somewhere in there, and it's kicked high and away by Tommaso Lorenzetti. Guinan receives it for Notre Dame, kicks it low. It's going to take a bounce, but Guinan's going to chase after it. And a little hot potato going on. Kicked pretty deep. And Artis, not going to hide what he's going to do, kicks it towards the touchline. And quick moving. Zach White keeps it in motion. Marian trying to go quick. Maybe catch the Notre Dame defense off guard. Guinan kicks it again. And it goes into touch. And that's going to be a mistake that gets a good field position possession coming for the Knights as Guinan's kick went straight into touch.
Irish just look a little gassed right there. Usually we'll be chasing after a ball like that, but deciding just to watch.
And they could only watch as it went into touch. So a line out for Nori Inglis, but it's taken away by Notre Dame as they continue to show off their line out defensive abilities that have been a new thing this year, thanks to having somebody who's 6 feet 6 inches tall. And knock on against the Irish. Going hard for it was Drew Artis, but he did knock it on at about midfield.
What's crazy too is Waterhouse is 6'6", as is number 4 Luke Engel.
And Notre Dame definitely doesn't lack the height or the size. So a scrum for the Knights will be fed through by Lorenzetti out of Rovigo, Italy. Don't see many Italians play rugby.
No. At least in the collegiate scene.
True.
But Lorenzetti, he's a beast. All-American. Two-time All-American, actually, for Marian. Also really good in sevens.
Unsurprising. Very fast, very swift with all his decision-making. As you'll see tonight, wearing number 9 in blue.
Good defensive structure right now from Notre Dame. This is why it's so hard to score against them.
There's a strong run, knocking his man over. Was White. In the middle, Ryan Stradeski leaves it behind. Quick pass right in the hands of Seiler. He's tackled by Williams for the Irish. And now Marian will try the other way with Stradeski again. Ball's free for a moment. Might save it for now. Cansfield getting involved, trying to take it away before retreating. And nearly breaking through now, passing it off to Seiler. Seiler with one man to beat. Stays on his feet, passes it from his stomach. And what a try! Finished by Jacob Royston. An unbelievable play. It was Lorenzetti to Seiler to Royston to give the Knights the lead.
Just really patient offense from Marian, but we have to go back to Lorenzetti's initial offload. It was a fake offload. He slices through the Notre Dame defense as he's falling down, somehow wills the ball out of his hands, offloads it to Seiler, and then from there, it was the Knights' ball to lose. I actually believe it was Bacoli who ended up scoring the try, number 3 for Marian. What a piece of rugby from the Knights.
Believe you are right. And so for Bacoli, the junior finishes a fantastic play. It's cannot draw it up any better than that. 17-12, the Knights lead.
17-12, Marian.
They have scored 2 consecutive tries since falling behind 12-7.
Just a lovely bit of rugby once again. Firstly, yeah, I talked about the Notre Dame defensive structure. You're not going to really break through them because they're allowing no space for any attacker to exploit. So you have to go through them. You got to go through the defenders. You got to knock them back. That's exactly what Marian did. They used their big physical frames, and then eventually, when the opportunity arose, they did not look back. They executed. That was terrific.
Deep kick. Guinan's going to go to the middle. Or maybe a little bit more hesitant to just kick it back, at least for now. Nice move on the run by Will Linke. Linke in there in the starting lineup tonight. Zach Benton out of the lineup. One of the only 2 changes for Justin Hickey. The other one being Matt Scariano in there, number 6, replacing Brendan Lucy tonight. So 2 changes from their win against Ohio State. Here's Luke Engel. And it will be kicked ahead, trying to find a cutting Waterhouse. He's defended very well. And the Irish have to be very careful not to hit it into touch before it is by Lorenzetti.
Luke Engel is on the ground right now for Notre Dame.
Yeah, we have one player on both teams on the ground. Zach White also slow to get up. So I have to imagine we'll see both teams' training staffs come out. When it's all said and done, it will be Notre Dame ball. Engel back to his feet. He's going to gingerly get back into the play. Same thing for White. So both of those gentlemen look like they're going to tough it out. White's still on the ground, however. Looked like he tried to get up. Maybe went back down. And potentially his teammate, Lorenzetti, calling for a sub. So we'll keep the clock stopped with 12:33 to play. And we will, in fact, get a substitution just don't like to see that. Zach White, the senior from Carmo, will jog off. He's replaced by Jacob Rowley, freshman. Number 23 comes into the game. And it'll be Notre Dame lineout as play resumes.
Jacob Rowley comes out.
It'll be Williams to throw it in for the Irish, who fake the first one. Well executed, and in the middle, the Irish look to attack. Talked about Notre Dame's tough defense, Chris. How about the Marian defense tonight so far? It's not their strength per se based on their recent results, but they have been tough to score against. Right now, Notre Dame's only 2 tries have been because of a offensive penalty by the Knights deep in their own territory that really never gave their defense much of a chance.
No, but overall, I've really enjoyed this first half from both sides. I think we've seen good bits of rugby. The past couple of minutes, it's been more Marian. However, slowly but surely, Irish starting to chip away here.
Scrum to Notre Dame.
And they'll get a scrum as they had been playing with advantage.
Engel is still in noticeable pain. I mean, he's a tough guy, but there's definitely something up right now with Luke Engel. Hope he's okay, but it's just a lot of discomfort for number 4.
And a little bit of motion at the Notre Dame bench as well. Moving around is Dan Kilcoyne, the 6'3" freshman. Number 18.
Haven't seen Notre Dame use the flanks a whole lot, and the wingers out wide. Of course, Banton's not playing today, which makes it a lot different, but they've been attacking through the middle a whole lot more than we're used to.
Here they are through the middle again with Scariano. Leaves it behind him where it's picked up and moved forward even further by Jack Dunn. Notre Dame in a good spot here, middle of the pitch inside the 22. And the penalty is coming against Notre Dame for obstruction. And a conversation between the referee and Collie Erden, who threw the ball down with some combination of disgust and anger. Not sure if he was angry at the call or angry at the ref. I guess that's the same thing. Not sure if he was angry at himself or angry at the ref, I guess would be a better way to phrase that. Pretty good kick by the Knights. Wow. Well done over on the far side. They'll get a line out from their 10-meter line.
Now, do you want to line out when you're going against Notre Dame? Is it worth the risk?
It's a good question. I think there you say, well, we want the field position.
Yeah.
And in most cases, the line out's good. If you can execute it well like that, certainly no problems. Good catch on the pass by Peters, who still has it. And still going forward, takes a couple Irish players to get him to the ground. One of the try scorers tonight, the vice captain. And it will be kicked almost in a spiral. Gathered in by the Irish, who will try to kick it back. Not much on it. It's going to bounce near the monogram a couple times. And Linky after it. Kick is blocked by Waterhouse, who gets on the ball. Saved by the Knights. That was a dangerous play. I'm not sure what body part of Waterhouse that hit, but
I love the energy from Will Linky and the other Irish players moving up to press Marian. We saw that a lot last game with Jack Dunn. Seeing it once again, but they needed that burst of energy because Notre Dame have looked a bit flat-footed. They look a little tired right now, and they need somebody to inspire and just juice up the rest of the team.
Forward pass called as a little bit of a scrambly possession and not a clean feed from Artis to Portelli. So Drew Artis flagged for the forward pass. Marian will get the scrum with about 8 minutes to play in the first half. They lead it 17-12 with 10 unanswered points since the Irish took a 12-7 lead. Ball's kicked around in the scrum, but it is recovered. And here go the Knights. Kicked forward pretty smartly by Toohey. Takes a couple bounces. Colin Artis finally grabs it. Goes out to the wing. Guinan with space will kick it. Trying to keep it in touch. He does, but gathered in on one bounce. Knights move it back. Toohey again, cutting it through the middle before he's tackled. A little bit of green grass for him. Does a backflip. Still has it. And that offload goes straight up in the air. Brought in, though. Knights keep it. Seen a lot of creative passes like that. Think back to their go-ahead try just a couple minutes ago. They've also done some of this. Bacoli with some strong running. Here's Stradeski. Brought down by Waterhouse. Seiler fakes it. Hits his man up high.
Oh,
Refs let him play on. I thought that was a high contact. Ref letting him play. It's kicked towards the wing where it's ran onto. I believe that's Dagan Fowley over there. But then he gets called for the penalty. And that will give possession back to Notre Dame.
Jack Dunn was hurt during that play. He walked very slowly out to the side before making tackle. And now he's down, and this doesn't really look good for the Irish or for Jack Dunn. Hope he's okay. He's going to be checked on by the trainers.
So that'll stop the clock with under 6 to play in the half. Back to his feet. Certainly a lot going on over there on that play. Lights are on here at Stinson Rugby Field, but the sun is still shining. Sunset's coming sooner and sooner every day. I believe today it's around 7:20, maybe 7:10.
Oh, Charlie, you're better at that than me. I'm no weatherman.
7:11.
7-11.
Get your free slushie. Just kidding. That's not how that works.
Oh, this guy. I did get a couple free slushies this summer.
Couple? Do they not have? Do they
there's-
have more free slushie days than just July
There's-
11th?
it's- Yeah, so there's one road in my town that quite literally has 3 7-Elevens on it. So
You would be the kind of guy to do that, wouldn't you?
there's different flavors at each one. We tried them out. Didn't drink them all. Like a lot of sugar in them. Haven't had one in years, and I had them, and I was like, wow. Can't believe I loved these as a kid. Still like them, but don't love them.
How similar are they to ices?
Haven't had an icy in a hot minute, Charlie.
Okay, fair enough. I don't think I've had an icy not in a movie theater in a decade.
Wow. I might be going to the movies soon.
What are you seeing?
The Smashing Machine with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It's about Mark Kerr, and an MMA fighter who is as tough as nails as a lot of these guys, because this has been a real physical game, Charlie. I've said it time and time again, but we've seen Dunn get hurt. Luke Engel's been knocked up a little. A couple of Marian players have definitely shown some signs of discomfort. This has been a fight.
Yeah, it certainly has, and way to keep us on topic. Great transition.
Oh, thank you.
As I believe Notre Dame has taken the ball away, and they have. Irish have it inside the 22. Waterhouse trying to do it himself. Marian trying to take the ball away right back. Here's Engel, low pass, but it's gathered in by Artis, who spins. Matt Williams, wrestled down. Cute pass now out to the wing. Nice pass, couple nice passes. Irish managed to keep it in bounds. That was dangerous. Pretty good work by Owen Portelli. Williams, strong tackle there by Royston.
Waterhouse in the middle.
Here's Miotaszewski with one try in the game. Down towards the line. No signal yet. Spinning try, and Dunn has scored to tie it. Back from injury. It's 17-all. Back and forth we go, Chris.
Jack Dunn is always good for a try a game at least. He has been a fantastic addition for Notre Dame ever since transferring, or actually he's on his foreign exchange year, so he's here for just 1 year, the junior from Ireland. Is a great player over there, has had tons of success just always finds a way to get in the mix. What I love the most, I mean, this guy was hurt. He could barely walk just about 5 minutes ago. Now he's scoring the try. That's a tough play from Jack Dunn.
How does foreign can we keep him?
I
What
know
if he
Coach
what if he
Justin
loves
Hickey would
the
love
U.S.?
to.
What if he loves the U.S. so much he doesn't go back? From Dublin.
Coach Hickey would love to keep him for another year. They do have him for 7s now.
And the rest of this year, of course. Guinan's kick goes wide left. So it stays 17 all with under 3 to go in this first half. What a back and forth half it has been between number 9, Marian, number 10, Notre Dame. Knights kick it away. And Ingles still a little ginger, as you mentioned it, Chris. He's going to actually take himself out along the sideline. High kick is bobbled. But gathered back in by the Knights. That's going to go for a knock-on, though.
Just to go back to that try real quick, it was set up by all of those clever passes that we saw. Those offloads were a work of art. A couple behind the back, some while falling down. Notre Dame just remained intent on scoring. They were very fixated on the goal at hand. That was a team effort all around. Well over half the team getting on the ball before they eventually put in the score.
And it was their third try of the game and the third one that they were able to capitalize off a Marian penalty. So if you're Marian, you're thinking if we can clean this up or get a stop one of these times, we're going to be in control of this game. Of course, both those easier said than done. Kick goes straight into touch. That's going to bring the ball all the way back towards midfield for a line out. With a minute to go in the first half of a 17-17 game. Thanks for joining us on this Friday evening. Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel. Second of 3 consecutive home matches for the Irish. They'll be back here in 1 week's time for a pretty special one, Chris. A doubleheader with the women's team. The men will be taking on Illinois. NCR might be in town. They certainly will be highlighting the game as the game of the week. In the women's side, Notre Dame women's rugby, the #1 team in the country.
Are you saying another college rugby show?
I don't know about that, but I know that this is going to get a lot of media attention as it's burst through the middle. Running free is Martindale. Martindale with a cut, and he's going to take it all the way. And Marian leads in the waning seconds of the first half. More than half the field for Joe Martindale.
Wow, we were just talking about 10 minutes ago how we haven't seen a huge run. It's just been trench warfare, offloads, and just team efforts all around. No moments of just individual brilliance, which we've seen time and time again with Notre Dame. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we just saw that now with Marian. Martindale, who's from the UK, he's played so many positions in his life, breaks through. Absolute foot race, and Martindale showing off the speed. Notre Dame caught off balance there defensively. They had a bit of a gap in their defensive line for just a second. Martindale took full advantage.
And so what will most likely be the last play of the first half, Casey Grable lining up the conversion kick. And he hooks it to the left. So kicking, not a strength for either team tonight, but the offenses have been, as it will be 22-17. Marian leads heading to halftime. Stick around, halftime show featuring my partner Chris Daly, talking top 5 rugby stadiums in the United States. Stick around, second half after that.
What's up, y'all? Chris Daly from the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel here with the first ever episode of the Halftime Speech, where I give you facts, opinions, and more about the world of college rugby. today I'm breaking down my top 5 venues in the nation. So let's dig in, starting with number 5, St. Mary's Stadium, home to the Gales soccer and rugby teams. St. Mary's Stadium sits beneath the beautiful Moraga Hills, and it seats 5,500 fans, one of the largest in college rugby. The natural grass surface is gorgeous, and the whole setting feels tucked into nature, super quaint, scenic, and always buzzes with energy on game day. It's everything you want in a college atmosphere, as is my number 4 venue, Stinson Rugby Field of Notre Dame. If you thought Stinson wasn't going to make the list, well, think again. My criteria for this list was largely based on good seating, natural beauty, playing surface, atmosphere, and overall amenities. Stinson, it checks every single box on that list. The bleachers provide 500 comfortable positions of seating, and they're always packed to the brim, so you see a lot of people standing along the fence, and you also can't beat a sunset view of the Golden Dome. And to cap it off, Stinson is one of the only World Rugby sanctioned surfaces in the United States. And the stadium also provides great food thanks to June Buggy's taco truck. Can't forget that. Dedicated in 2013, Stinson has earned its rightful place as the number 4 venue. One spot ahead of Stinson Rugby Field is Anderson Rugby Complex of Army West Point. How can you not be romantic about college rugby after seeing this place? Sitting alongside the Hudson River, Anderson Rugby Complex is state of the art. The 2-story, 13,650 square foot facility includes locker rooms, showers, a weight room, offices, and an 1,800 square foot observation deck overlooking the field. Portable stands are brought in for big games, and the whole setup is just as polished as any collegiate rugby venue out there. What I love the most, though, is the fact that young men and women who will serve this great country get to call this place home. Well-deserved is an understatement. The setting, the tradition, and the sheer attention to detail make this place special. But with that, we'll fly across the country for the number 2 venue, and that is Cal Berkeley's Witter Field, home to the most successful collegiate program in the country with 33 national titles. Witter Field was a $2 million project in 1995. With natural beauty galore thanks to the surrounding trees and views of the California mountains, Witter Field is another work of art. I love this venue's synthetic turf. Real great fun fact here. Installed in 2019, it uses environmentally friendly materials. Instead of rubber, the turf field is comprised of 90% coconut and 10% naturally derived plant-based matter, according to the Cal website. In terms of amenities, Cal outdoes itself. The Doc Hudson Memorial Fieldhouse neighbors the stadium, and all on top of this is an amazing fan base. Creates for what I have ranked as the 2nd best venue in the nation. And finally, for the number 1 venue, it's none other than Brophy Field of Dartmouth. I could stare at the Corey Ford Rugby Clubhouse at Brophy Field all day long. It really looks like it belongs on Augusta National. I can just imagine Jim Nance saying, "Hello, friends," from the clubhouse. I love this classy type of architecture. It has its old school, but it's got so many great modern amenities. They're currently renovating the clubhouse right now as well. Some great things are going on over at Brophy Field. The clubhouse itself is over 6,000 square feet, provides the ability for fans to watch the match from the bird's eye view, and the venue is so cozy. Surrounded by beautiful trees. You can tell I love trees. Dartmouth wisely utilizes its landscape for natural seating. Most fans will sit on the hill with plenty of others at the clubhouse. Brophy Field and the clubhouse scream everything that's great about college rugby. People who care are investing in it, but they're also keeping this sense of character that makes this sport so amazing. So for that reason, Brophy Field and the Corey Ford Rugby Clubhouse take the cake as my number 1 venue. That's all for me. Thanks so much for watching the first ever episode of the Halftime Speech. Chris Daly from Notre Dame Studios and the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel signing off for now. I'll see you in the second half.
Second half about to get going here at Stinson Rugby Field. In a 22-17 game, the Fighting Irish trail by 5 after a late first half try from Joe Martindale for the Knights. Thanks so much for joining us on this Friday evening, especially at the moved up start time. This game originally scheduled for 7 p.m. was changed to 6. And there's a good start to the half for the Irish as Philip Guinan bounces it into play and then out. So Notre Dame playing the field position game early in this second half. Chris Daly, my partner, Charlie Morris, thanks for joining us on the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel. Chris, very exciting first half, 22 points for the Knights. Their sixth game, I should say, out of 7 this year where they have scored at least 4 tries. What have you seen so far?
Marian is the most talented away team we have seen at Stinson Rugby Field. They have been a joy to watch. Every single player on this team has contributed. There's a lot of times where we are going to see teams that just have 2 or 3 main stars, but Marian across the board has just terrific rugby players, have been a joy to watch. Now, for Notre Dame, they've been physical, they've held their own, but of course Marian at the end were able to take the lead thanks to a great try, or should I say Marian was able to take the lead thanks to a great try from Martindale, finally able to break the lines open. So I'm excited for the second half. I think there's a lot of questions to be answered from both sides. How can they stop one another's attack? And I'm sure both head coaches had a lot to say to their teams in the dugout.
How about that move? Brilliant cutback. And I think you're right, Chris. This game obviously far from over. It's only a 5-point game, but you add on to the fact, which you briefly alluded to in the first half, which is that in every game this year except the Purdue game, Notre Dame's better half has been the second half. And if that holds true tonight, it's going to be very challenging for the Knights to come out of here with a ranked win. Although on the same note, they've done their part leading at halftime. Just makes you think about what the second half can bring.
I think it's going to be tightly contested, and I think that, one, because of the talent of this Marian team, but they've also been battle-tested. They've faced St. Bonaventure. Did they lose 57-12? Sure, but St. Bonaventure is far and away, in my opinion, the best team in the land, and heck, we might see that in the next top five teams in the country. St. Bonnie's they went to the national title 2 years ago. They lost to Notre Dame College, who are now Walsh. Speaking of Walsh, Notre Dame played them 38-17. These two teams have played lots of great opponents.
Here goes Jack Waterhouse. Can he get the edge? He's dragged by his shirt, throws it behind him. That's going to go as a forward pass. Real good run for Jack Waterhouse. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're
but
good.
You don't see plays like that often, but even better defense from the Knights to prevent the try. So you think St. Bonaventure is the #1 team in the country?
I do.
Even though they are not ranked #1. Brown is #1.
I think that would be a great game of rugby if we were to see it, and I do think St. Bonaventure would win. What I saw from them in sevens last year, that team was something.
They went to the national championship game in sevens, losing to Wheeling, unsurprisingly.
But they're a better 15 side than they are a 7 side.
Notre Dame sees them this year. They're in a good spot.
Yeah, they are.
It's going to be pretty deep in the tournament with both these teams in the top 10. Same thing could be said for Marian, who's already played them.
Well, Marian, for being such a great team, has a rough go at it, being in the Big Rivers Conference. We talked about it in the first half, but with just the amount of talent there is in the Big Rivers, it's so hard to punch your ticket to the college rugby playoffs as you go up against 5 of the best teams in the nation.
Yeah, certainly. We were debating about what's the best rugby state. Don't think there's much debate about the best conference.
Oh, no.
So interesting to me how the rugby conferences work, completely, utterly different than how the rest of college athletic works. There's no ACC.
No.
I guess there's a Big Ten, but that's about the only one. There's no, well, I guess there is an ACC, isn't there? It's just there's so many more small conferences.
Yeah, that are just elite.
Yeah, it's like if you're not one of the Power 5 in most other sports, it just means you can't compete with the Power 5. In rugby, it's like, well, some of the other conferences are just better. There's a kick up in the air, gathered in by the Knights. Fowley with a great job to save that one. However, Notre Dame was playing with advantage. And so it'll be kicked into touch by Engel, who stays in the game, Chris.
And they kick into touch for
Not sure. I was not sure if he was going to stay in the game at halftime. He was certainly walking around gingerly for pretty much half the first half. But he stays in there.
If Engel was going to come out, he would have came out right away. Guy is tough as nails.
And so a line out coming.
We've seen tries from this very position. Usually Matt Williams, the one to score off of here.
He's the one throwing it in this time. Jack Waterhouse uses his height there. They try another rolling maul. Marian has defended these brilliantly tonight, and no different there. Williams does take it before he's pushed backwards. Some of the best defense we've seen against the Notre Dame rolling maul, certainly this year. And they've done it consistently, have the Knights tonight. As Cansfield is driven back by a couple tacklers as well. One of them being Graybill. Kicked ahead. Could it take a bounce? Waterhouse after it. Lays a strong hit on Fowley. As Dagan Fowley ate that one to prevent the try.
That'll wake you up.
kicked into Marian's try zone and tapped down by Marian. That'll be a
so goal line out coming for the Knights.
Waterhouse bringing the boom.
Certainly a tamer start to the second half than what we saw in the first half. As Artis is going to kick it deep, it goes off the upright, and it's good. And so how about 3 points for Notre Dame?
That'll be 22-20.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, so I don't know if you remember this. Last year, I said I would love to see a drop kick. Alex Goff was talking about it on the Goff Rugby Report. We were having a conversation about this on the stream. I'd say, one thing I want to see today is a drop kick. I never got to see it. I finally did. That was brilliant and so smart.
I don't know. I thought he was just kicking it for possession, trying to like restart it. But goes off the upright and in, so all of a sudden we got a 2-point game, and all these missed conversion kicks for Marian starting to come back to maybe bite them a little bit.
Picked up by Notre Dame, now with Marian's line.
They are only 1 for 4 on kicks after tries in the game, and that one was from dead center. That's the reason that now Notre Dame could do that again. They could bring out their second drop kick that you've seen ever.
Yeah, it's
and
more
take the lead in this game.
More for Marian to defend too. That's a whole new element to this Irish attack.
Oh, and a bad line out. Cansfield takes it for Notre Dame. Tries to offload it, goes off a body. And a knock on against the Irish. I don't know if the referee saw that pass go off the butt of a Marian player, but either way, dangerous looking chance for Notre Dame with Jack Dunn out wide, and they just couldn't get him the ball.
Yeah, unlucky from the Irish.
So Marian catches a break, and they will take it. Still no tries here in the second half, which normally wouldn't be concerning, but we had 2 tries on the board by this time in the first half.
Second half, though, Notre Dame, so far, the better team.
The better team, absolutely.
They've been in the 22 for just about the entirety of these first 10 minutes here. At least in their attacking half of the pitch.
Can't tell. Is there an injured player somewhere in this scrum, perhaps? Or just a conversation with the ref? The clock had stopped for a second. From our vantage point, it was tough to tell what was going on. Looked like maybe a Marian player, very slow to get up, but back in the play now.
I think the ref was talking to some of the players as well.
That went through the hands of Martindale, but it didn't bounce forward, so no knock on. See if Marian can kind of get the offense going. We're about 10 minutes into this half, and they have been
In from the side.
pinned deep.
Penalty to Marian.
Penalty against Notre Dame, and Jack Dunn not a fan of that call, but he'll have to back up. And maybe gets another one for yapping too much. So now free 10 meters for the Knights. And the kick will get them even more. Guinan tried to toe tap, but unable to come up with it. Perfectly executed kick. And Marian will get the offensive half possession that they have lacked in this half. Line out, though, is bobbled, and the Irish take it. It's been a strength of them all season, has been the line outs, both offensively and defensively.
That's a great kick.
Yeah, it is a great kick. It's going to take a bounce and go into touch over the head of Rowley, who again is into the game because of an injury. He was the first and so far only sub of the game. Zach White has exited.
It's what they call a bomb in rugby. Sometimes they'll call it a Gary Allen, up and under. Ball just soars in the air. The hang time, few seconds, gives Notre Dame an ability to move their defenders up the pitch, pin Marian back. Well done from the Irish.
And some sort of infraction. Referee signaled knock on against Marian. I don't know where that would have taken place. But either way, Notre Dame will get it on the scrum from pretty decent field position, trailing by just 2. Another close game for the Marian Knights. And if you're a fan of them watching, first of all, thanks for joining us. Second of all, you have to be familiar with games like this. You probably don't have much of your fingernails left. 5 of their 6 games decided by 10 points or less, including their 2 wins to start the season versus Kentucky and Davenport by 1 point and 2 points. As Guinan's pass doesn't quite connect, but it's recovered by the Irish in the form of Andrew LaFranchi, the captain, wearing number 7. Guinan, Mulligan, tackle down. Nice play by his counterpart, number 13, Will Toohey. Dunn will go out to his right. And pretty strong running from Miataszewski. Skip pass all the way out wide. Waterhouse is taken down. There's a good tackle made by Nori Inglis. A lot of bodies flying over on the far side. I'm trying to burst through on the timing play. Well defended by the Knights. Guinan. Couple passes, maybe some room for Drew Artis. Passes to his brother, who kicks it ahead and then gets taken down. It's bouncing towards the back of the try zone and out. And so the Marian defense gets the stop, and they'll get to reset. Still ahead by 2. This is the 3rd straight year these 2 teams have played, Chris, and it's been Marian's offense coming through both times. In the first ever meeting in 2023, they picked up a close win here at Stinson Rugby Field, 41-34. That was, at that point, the NCR game of the night. Somehow, it's not the case tonight in a top 10 matchup, but either way, last year when they met, 38-17, the Knights a more comfortable margin of victory. And right now, hanging on to this 22-20 lead.
Yeah, I love what Marian have been able to do. They're still a really young program. Notre Dame's been around since the 60s. Of course, they had that period of time where they were defunct, but there still was a rugby club here in South Bend. A lot of university students played for them. Oh my goodness.
I feel like every time you make a good point, something crazy happens in this game.
But just to go back to that, Marian recruits very locally. They have 9 players in the starting 15 born in the state of Indiana. Then they have guys from Australia, England, Italy, and Scotland. Oh, and then you got Alex Bacoli from Minnesota, the outsider looking in.
Yeah, imagine
Caden and Simile also from Iowa.
Sebastian Conley's from Ohio, and you mentioned Bacoli from Minnesota. Everyone else on this team is either international or Indiana.
Yeah.
Which is remarkable to think about. How much talent you can tap into in just your own state with a few complementary pieces.
It's something Coach
from across the ocean.
Yeah, John Harley was really stressing when he was introduced. He's the first and only head coach of this Marian program. Wants to recruit in the Midwest, become the powerhouse of Midwest rugby.
He's certainly trending that way. He's the highest ranked team in the state of Indiana right now, although just by 1 over the Irish and just 3 over the Hoosiers, who are number 12. Top 3 in state. As we have a couple plays happen that of note. Andrew Cansfield really slow to get up for the Irish. Waves off the athletic trainer. And a knock-on committed by Dagan Fowley for Marian, just dropping the kick between his arms. And so Notre Dame will get a prime opportunity to try to take the lead in this game.
This is where that kick comes in to factor. I mean, they're only down by 2. They could set Artis up again here.
Yeah, it is on the side where he would kick it from. If the field was mirrored and Notre Dame was on the other side, you'd see Guinan kick at the lefty, but who's missed 2 kicks today. But Artis nailed his 2. But Notre Dame going to get aggressive. Of course, you really only want to kick it if you're pretty centered. Otherwise, you might as well go for it. As Mulligan, dancing by a couple, finally will go to the turf.
No, it's big. The Marian defense was out of order for just a quick second. Notre Dame able to gain a few meters.
And now Marian will have to back up even more. Maybe a kick now. See what Notre Dame opts to do. Yes, they will kick it. Andrew LaFranchi makes the indication. Notre Dame will bring out the tee and look to take the lead with 23 minutes to play in the second half. So Colin Artis will line it up. He already has 1 field goal in this half, a little bit atypical. This one much more standard for the senior out of Madison, New Jersey. And he hooks it. It is no good. Marian retains the lead and we play on. So both teams with some kicking struggles in this game. As Dunn will send it deep. Not much pursuit from the Irish as they have to try to stay on sides. So Marian pinned deep, but they dodged the bullet as Artis hooks his kick.
As of now, they're trying to build from the back. No sign of kicking for Marian. Maybe in a second or 2.
Yeah, I have to imagine it's coming probably. Notre Dame's defense gets right up on the line, and here you go. Oh, fake. Fooled me. Pass off. Pretty well done by Martindale. Right towards the touchline. Marian manages to stay in bounds over there. Now it'll be kicked. Not very far. And kicked ahead somehow. And offside's the call. Not a knock on there as it actually went off the feet of Artis. But offside's nonetheless, no doubt about that one. And so Marian survives it. They're pretty much out of the woods at this point. After the kick did not go through from Artis after a couple penalties. See how big that holds to be throughout the rest of this game. We've played just about half of this second half. In the half, the score is 3-0 Notre Dame after fireworks through the first 40.
Notre Dame have had more opportunities than Marian by a good bit as well in the second. Just not much to show for it. And they had that chance with the kick to go back to it. It's an unfortunate break for Notre Dame. Sometimes it is tough when you have to square those hips and the kick is more centered. Sometimes it's easier to kick from the side. And the Irish will have to settle with what happened. Look to claw their way back into this game.
Marian commits a knock-on. They've been guilty of their fair share of those tonight. And so the offensive possession temporarily halted. Notre Dame's defense gets a stop. Whereas Notre Dame's defense has been a strong unit this year. You knew this was probably going to be their biggest challenge. So we just turned the lights on in the press box. I feel like I just woke up.
Yeah, that's why you got to chuckle at me right there. Oh, this is great. This is Friday Night Rugby, Charlie. This is what we live for, man. Two great teams, 22-20.
This has been a great game. This has been the best game of the year for a neutral spectator, for sure. Texas A&M game was fun when we had the NCR booth here, no doubt about that. But in terms of quality of play, this one has been the best. As we get a little run from Graybill. Now spun down is Lorenzetti.
That's an Notre ball.
Yes, it is, and a penalty will set Marian back. So what looked like a golden opportunity for the Knights in this second half quickly goes to the wayside. More than halfway through the second half, and it's been very, very tight. Still no tries for either team since the break.
Picked out by Notre Dame.
Tell you what, the turf, the lights, the setting sun, I can see why you ranked this field in your top 5 venues in the entire country.
You know, after a night like this with a lively crowd, maybe I'll bump it up to 3. Although
Remind me what you put at 3?
Anderson Rugby Complex of West Point.
West Point, yeah, that was a good one.
They have
Hard to argue with that ranking.
13,000-foot square facility, if my memory serves me correctly, so it is hard to argue against it.
We're so thankful to be here, have this press box, have the field, have the kind of players that we do, as that's going to be another knock-on against Marian. In and out of the hands of, I believe, Seiler.
It's time for Notre Dame to respond, Charlie. 3-0. They've had the ball and had possession for a lot more than Marian, quite frankly, in this second half. Marian have had their chances here and there, but for the most part, it's been the Irish. They just have lacked execution, especially when they get within 22 meters. They need to figure it out, and they need to find an answer soon.
Yeah, and it's a stark contrast. I thought Notre Dame was outchanced in the first half, but they were so effective capitalizing when Marian committed the penalties. And it's just been such a different story in the second half.
It's good to see Waterhouse get involved. They're going to need him to have a big final 20 minutes here if they do want to win this game.
You know, certainly missing a guy like Zach Banton right now. Is that kick going to bounce straight up? Valley, no problem with this one. Nearly splits through. Drew Artis with a good tackle. Couple of nice cutbacks. Lorenzetti again. And the captain of this Marian team, the Italian. A couple Notre Dame players looking for a penalty. They're not going to get it. We play on. Under 17 to go in the half. Speaking of 17, just into the game, Hunter Branham, A couple of subs actually for both teams. Chase Franklin also in for Marian. As Notre Dame really keeping much of the starters in for now. There's a good tackle out wide on Artis before he gives it off. And slicing through past midfield. Looks like maybe almost a mall structure here. Taken away by the Knights in all of that. Slipping but getting back up is Franklin. Dylan Welty, number 21, also in, so we'll see Marian start to dip into their bench. Get some fresh legs out there. Ball's free. Picked up by Waterhouse. Waterhouse fakes it. He's got a lane. Tries to cut it back. Stays on his feet, throws it away. Marian takes it back. Costly turnover after a great run for Jack Waterhouse. And Marian will have to kick it to save it. Takes a couple bounce. Guinan is going to pick it up. Careful not to knock it on. He's going to try to run for it. Passes it off. Artis, low kick, bouncing. Bounces right into the hands of Martindale, who will down it. And both teams will take a breath.
Wow. Firstly, Waterhouse's run went a solid 45, 50 meters, explodes by everybody. Just that turnover, real costly. You said it, Charlie. And right there with Drew Artis and his pass, using the floor. No Notre Dame teammate was really ready for it. I think if that was better communicated, this could be a 25-22 game right now.
So another injury for the Knights. Not what you want to see, but they will make a substitution. Couple substitutions. So they get set for the goal line dropout. Last time they did this, Notre Dame kicked for 3 on a drop kick. This time it's not going to be kicked into the center already. I guess it is, but Dunn is there. Thinking about it, he's eyeing it up. It's up. And it's good. Jack Dunn gives Notre Dame the lead with his left foot. 23-22 Irish in front for the first time since the first half.
Yeah, that's just world class. Sometimes it takes those moments of big time players stepping up, big time moments. Jack Dunn. He's a guy who was injured in the first half, could barely move. He was on the ground in pain. Hands on his head, literally just didn't know what to do. He could barely move. I think it was his back he kept pointing to. Sticks in the game. He had a huge try, and now this might be the most pivotal moment this result is to hold.
Yeah, still a lot of time, of course, but Notre Dame
It's a momentum shifter.
Oh, it certainly is. First time Notre Dame has led since 12-7. They battled all the way back. 23-22. No points on the board for the Knights yet in the second half. No tries for the Irish either, but the 2 drop kicks off of goal line lineouts have been the difference.
Yeah, Jack Dunn, a guy who is Irish through and through. Talked about his story as a foreign exchange student coming from Ireland, played for the Irish University squad, faced off against France, one of the top university rugby players overseas in Ireland and here in the United States.
There's a strong run ahead for Clay Peters. Marian looking to get back in front. They've had a couple good responses. That one's nearly taken away, as reading the play was Guinan, but he couldn't come up with it. I don't even know. I guess they're ruling he didn't touch it? This is going to be a conversation with the side ref. Surely this is going to be Marian ball. But there is a conversation.
Hit into touch by Marian. That'll be
And they're going to keep it with Notre Dame on the scrum. So maybe after it went off Guinan, it went off the Knight over on the far side. It's the only thing I can think of. As the errant pass. Under 13 to play in the second half. Thanks again for joining us. The action's only getting better here in South Bend. There's a high tackle. That looked pretty illegal to me.
Yeah, definitely.
No call on the field. Ref has been letting
Oh my
the
goodness.
boys
I'm
play
looking
for
at
the most
replay
part.
right now, Charlie. Yikes. That's a headshot.
Notre Dame moving backward right now. Marian defense very strong. But how about this effort from Miotaszewski? Can he get down with it? He can.
It's the best game I've seen him play.
I think you're right. No doubt about it.
He's been everywhere. Really active member, both offensively and defensively.
That one's a super high kick. Oh, miscommunication between a couple of the Marian players as who's going to get it. It's free for a minute.
Looks like Portelli came down with it.
I think you're right. Owen Portelli got to it.
Great effort from the senior.
Here is Miotaszewski, who has help from his teammate to get him down.
So much open space out here on the near side.
Guinan's going to try to kick it towards that space, but it's going to be gathered in finally. It was a little bouncy. But the kick into touch
Kicked out by Marian. That'll be
by
Marian.
Reese Reddington, who came away with it. And just got rid of it as soon as he could. A line out coming for the Irish, and they are in no rush.
Charlie, it's raining too.
Has it started raining? Oh, I can feel it. I'm going to reach my hand out the window.
I can see it under
Oh,
the
there it is.
floodlights. I mean, look at it
Oh,
outside.
good call.
It's coming down, yeah.
It's
raining quite a
It
bit.
is the lightest rain I have ever seen, though.
Okay.
I would call it
We have one umbrella.
misting.
We have tons of hoods out here. A lot of people are just starting to put their umbrellas up. So this is a recent occurrence. Keep you updated with the weather on the Notre Dame Rugby YouTube channel.
Sun has set. Currently 64 degrees. That's about the warmest it's been here in the last few days. Good air quality. Not much wind.
I'm
Good
glad.
visibility.
I'm real glad.
Full moon 4 days ago. 3 days ago? 4 days ago? Something
Yeah,
like that.
Something like that, yeah. Couldn't tell you.
And a little bit of rain, which is again, barely coming down. 10 minutes to play in regulation time in a 1-point lead for the Irish. And more conversations going on. The clock continues to tick. Marian seemingly in no rush. There's still lots of time in this game, but at some point the clock will become a factor.
Multiple times today, these scrums have just taken so long to get going.
And we're at one of those examples now. Finally, we are back underway. And wow,
Oh,
there's a huge hit. My goodness.
that was right
As-
to the nose.
Graybill and Artis collide. And how about Drew Artis getting right back up and in position, but he is heading towards the sideline. He's going to stay in there for now. Going to have to make another tackle. Forward pass called as Artis will now go down, and that did not look good live. You could almost hear that one through our headsets.
Yeah, that was actually disturbing to watch. I really hope.
That is the most physical offense of the day on a day where there has been no shortage of that. As it was Casey Graybill who comes in at 215
Oh, my
pounds
goodness. It's,
with just a boom,
yeah.
trying to get through the Notre Dame defense, and Drew Artis has got the worst of that one. So he'll be replaced by Race Bates, number 22 for Notre Dame, enters.
I really hope Artis is okay. I mean, he hit his head pretty hard on the turf, and yeah, he'll definitely be checked.
Yeah, you certainly have to look at him. Also in for the Irish, Finn O'Brien, the sophomore. So a couple subs for Notre Dame for the first time in the game. All the starters, even the ones who are now out, 70 very solid minutes in a very physical game. And, of course, plenty of the starters still in, going to play that full 80 plus.
Well, Race Bates had a great try against Purdue. Intercepted the ball. That's what we call a pick 5 here.
Gimme 5.
A gimme 5, that's what you call it.
That is what I call it.
Like,
Trying to coin that term.
gimme 5.
Hey, gimme 5.
Gimme 5, okay, bam.
See? See how good that sounds?
Love it.
Pick 5 doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I suppose.
Another rolling ball. Waterhouse is basically horizontal, and Notre Dame's ball not going anywhere. But they draw the penalty.
Strum to Notre Dame.
We'll see what Notre Dame goes for. Our press box thinks a scrum. I think the players are going to agree. Good call. Shout out to a couple of the players from the JV team helping out with the game tonight, as they always do. Very helpful for us.
Yeah, I'm going to have to correct you there. I mean, Will Scariano, varsity, played against Walsh in that game, battling an injury right now.
Well, the teams are fluid, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Just
But fair enough.
support
Not in the lineup
fellas.
tonight, but making an impact either way. So shout out Will and Matt for being here.
Oh,
Marian fans get loud.
look at this. Some words. Waterhouse.
Whoa.
He's pumped up.
He's always like this, though.
He is. He's an intimidating guy. We haven't even talked about his story. I feel like we talk about it every broadcast. I think it's a rite of passage. Jack Waterhouse is a guy who's playing for the Springbok U20s. You look up Jack Waterhouse Rugby on YouTube, his highlight reel has well over 14,000 views.
Jeez.
This guy is a serious talent. The fact that he's playing here at Notre Dame in the United States, it's surreal.
And we're very fortunate.
Yeah, it's no hyperbole or exaggeration when we say he's genuinely one of the top players in the country. He's the real deal.
He's been shut down tonight, though. He did have that early try.
He's had some good
He's had a
runs.
couple good runs, but has also committed a couple turnovers. So give credit to the Knights defense and their head coach, John Harley, who has gotten the Knights prepared for this big road game, which they have led for longer than they have trailed, but that is not the story now. Under 6 to play, and Notre Dame nursing a 1-point lead, 23-22, as we head down the stretch. Space out wide. Guinan is going to make the tackle as Reddington looked like he might have some room. And right by the touchline, but it stays inbounds. It's one thing Marian has been good at. They've played a lot on the flanks, but they have not gone into touch with possession once today, despite the Irish defense's best efforts. That pass almost got Martindale in the face, but he's able to corral it. It's been a good possession so far for Marian, but still a long way to go. Pretty solid collision between DeJuan Gray just into the game, number 16, who just now gets back to his feet. Taken away by Waterhouse. Flips it behind him for Scariano. Down to the 5. And now it'll be kicked out wide for Bates. It's off the hands. Bates will leave it for Waterhouse, who's tackled by a couple blue sweaters. And that's a penalty, though, against Marian. And
Ball to Jack Waterhouse here.
Notre Dame's ball.
Notre Dame has a prime opportunity here.
Marian player down, though.
Another injury.
Good job from Notre Dame to track down that kick, especially race Bates out wide. Just good patience to wait for it. Got himself in the right spot. Kept the possession alive, offloaded it to Waterhouse, and then eventually the penalty.
So with 4:21 on the clock, play is stopped. Now again, these teams really giving it their all tonight. Marian already used most of their bench. We've seen Gray, we've seen Branham, we've seen Franklin, Kenyon, Welty, and Rowley all off the bench. That leaves Joey Jacobs and Sebastian Conley by my count. So they're not going to make a sub, it doesn't look like. Injured player gets back in there. And so Notre Dame tap and go from the 5 on the far side of the field. And it's Matt Williams who will feed it behind him. Waterhouse cutback move, taken down. Another cutback move. Great wall of Knights. There are so many bodies there.
There's also
My goodness.
wide open Will Linky on the complete opposite side of the pitch.
Guinan's going to kick it in that direction, as you called it. Linky picks it up. Couple moves. Feeds it off Mulligan. Mulligan scores!
That was Connor Mulligan with the try for the Irish. 28-22 Notre Dame.
Insurance for the Irish on Connor Mulligan's try with just 3.5 minutes to play.
I mentioned Will Linky because he was begging for the ball. He saw the space. It was clear as day out on the near side of the pitch. And it was Philip Guinan. Who else to kick it that way? Linky made a couple of nice moves. He kind of cut it back wide, drew some Marian players inside the center of the try zone before dishing it out wide. And nicely done from Connor Mulligan to muscle his way through, score the try, and add the insurance for Notre Dame.
So 28-22, Notre Dame takes a 6-point lead, and they could make it. They could basically end it here with Artis. His kick is curling, and he got it. And a 2-score lead now for the Irish, as Cullen Artis knocks it through. It's 30-22, and what an important kick that is in this game.
I love that from Colin Artis. After missing the penalty kick just about 10, 15 minutes ago, Artis shows no signs of nerves or doubt or anything right there. As cool as a cucumber.
And so panic time for Marian. That's going to be a good start. Knock on against Notre Dame.
Knock on by Notre Dame. That'll be Marian's strike.
Now they need 2 scores. At least 1 try and 1 kick. And with the way their kicking is going, you're most likely going to have to get into the try zone twice. Under 2 to play in the second half. They have not scored in this half. 13-0 is the score since the break for the Irish.
This could be a statement win for Notre Dame. Back-to-back statement wins. A statement win within the conference and then one around the country. Alex Goff on the Goff Rugby Report was talking about that before the game. He said, I don't really know what to do with Notre Dame. And I can't wait to see them play Marian. Gives me a good gauge of how they are as a team.
It's not over yet, though. Look at that pass sending Reddington in. And Reddington scores. And Marian is still right in it. They're going to try a drop kick for the conversion. That's up and through. And so we got a 1-point game. Reese Reddington out of nowhere. I believe he made the kick. I have to watch it again. He went super quick. Yeah, it looked like that went right down the middle.
The conversion is not good, I believe.
Still confusion as to whether that kick went in or not. Either way, all of a sudden, this game is right back to being interesting. Under 30 seconds, Marian needed 1 score, needed 2 scores. They got 1 instantly. Do they have another in them? Down the stretch at Stinson.
Just need to get the ball back if you're Notre Dame.
10 seconds on the clock. This is going to be it. Last possession.
Oh.
More strong running for the Knights and Clay Peters. Ball's juggled, gathered in. Can they tackle him into touch? No, it stays in. Ball's loose for a second. Somehow the Knights still have it. They keep it. In all of that confusion, they are still alive down to their last breath. Penalty against Notre Dame will give them a chance to reset. And so we will slow it down. No time on the clock. This is it. Marian needs to score on this possession or it's over. And there's a good kick to get him on the plus side of midfield. A lot of tension in the stands, and understandably so. This is what you play for. Moments like this. Marian needs a score. Notre Dame needs a stop. Next dead ball will end it, whether that's down in the try zone or anything else. Line out throw-in will come from Franklin, with Inglis out of the game. Oh, and it's thrown short. Here's Franklin again. Just barely stays in bounds. They're inside the 22, are the Knights. Still trying to push forward. Pretty impressive. They've gotten it up to here already. Now they try the far side of the field. Passed off. Maybe some space. Reddington! He ends it! An improbable comeback for Marian, and they get it done at the buzzer. Reese Reddington, the hero, as number 9 beats number 10 in 85 minutes.
Heartbreak for Notre Dame, Charlie. Just pure heartbreak. Had a great second half. There will be a few moments they're going to look back on, and especially these last 3 defensively. But so much credit to Marian. We've seen them time and time again this season battle in close games, both wins and losses. This team never gives up. They got a great character about them.
And the final whistle makes it official. A walk-off try for Reese Reddington and the Marian Knights. They come into South Bend, they withstand a second half push, and they take it 32-30 in an incredible finish on this Friday night.
Wow, it's just such a great game of rugby. Probably overall, from a neutral eye, the best game that we have seen
100%.
here at Stinson Rugby Field. Back and forth. There was a time where Notre Dame couldn't do anything offensively, then they got it going again. So many great performers today from the Irish. Michael Miataszewski, one in particular, I thought had a fantastic game. Just everywhere on both sides of the ball. And then for Marian, you got to look at Reese Reddington at the end. Found himself in the right spot, far side of the pitch, wide open. Marian moved the ball so well today. They used every single player on this team. There's really no one star for the Knights. It's just a collective group effort. They're a well-coached team by John Harley. They're going to go far. And listen, I know they're in the Big Rivers Conference. I know it's a tough one, but I really think they can turn some heads and surprise a lot of people come playoff time.
Yeah, a signature win for them. They've now beaten both Indiana and the Fighting Irish to claim the title and hold that over their in-state rivals. Notre Dame's 4-game win streak comes to a close. Marian's 2-game losing streak is snapped on that thrilling finish from South Bend, Indiana. For our entire crew tonight, headed by Aaron Yarbrough and complimented by Alex and Val and Walter and Peyton, and for my partner Chris Daly, I'm Charlie Morris saying so long from South Bend. Have a great weekend, as Marian certainly will, after a thrilling 32-30 victory tonight.